The Gabrielino Tongva tribe were the first to call this lush and fertile land their home. This land would be part of Rancho Sausal Redondo, a 22,000-acre land granted to Antonio Ignacio Avila during the first half of the 1800s. The rancho was sold by Avila's heirs to Scottish nobleman Robert Burnet in the 1860s, planting trees of various fruits and producing fields of barley. The ranch and land were leased to Canadian Daniel Freeman when Burnet returned to Scotland. Freeman continued to add more trees to the orchards and planted more barley. Freeman eventually purchased the land from Burnet in the 1880s, and he began selling off the lands in various subdivisions. Expansion in this area could be attributed to the part of the opening of the Redondo Seaport in 1890 and the railway that linked the port to Los Angeles. Towns and villages developed along the railway route. As such, one of the towns that arose from the railway in the southern portion of the old rancho would become Lawndale. In 1902, the Los Angeles Redondo Railway made its way through Lawndale in what is now Hawthorne Boulevard. The area is usually dry, with history of long droughts that caused many livestock to die during the rancho years. To help propagate growth in Lawndale, Henry Huntington, owner of the Pacific Electric Railway, with interest in real estate, had water transported to Lawndale and other surrounding settlements to sustain the growing population and the farms and grazing lands. Locals and Lawndale historians claim February 25, 1906 as Lawndale's foundation instead of the city's incorporation in 1959. That is the date when people started to go to Lawndale. Actually, real estate firm of Charles Hopper started selling off 5- and 10-acre barley lands the year before, but yielded no interest. The following year, Hopper's firm ran an ad in the Los Angeles Times on Feb 25, 1906 with the headline, "Opening today, Lawndale, the new town, a home community for homemakers," thus giving Lawndale that birth date. In May 1906, another subdivision of Lawndale opened for sellers, and another in November 1910. By the 1910 U.S. Census, there were 142 residents in Lawndale. The first settlements were mostly small farms for produce, sheep, and poultry. The first school opened in 1906 in the Lawndale Congregational Church. Oil discovery in the 1920s brought commercial growth to Lawndale, and population increased as oil workers moved in. Oil derricks filled up the landscape during this time. But population and real estate growth plateaued in the 1930s as oil drilling waned and led into the Great Depression. Lawndale remained silent until the end of World War II as veterans settled in. The farm charm of Lawndale receded as housing demand increased, brought forth by the construction of the Harbor Freeway and the growth of personal cars, leaving the Pacific Electric and all other rail services in the area obsolete. While commercial and economic growth occurred in the neighboring areas, Lawndale struggled to shed its rural identity. An organization, the Civic Association, helped to launch Lawndale into the world of commerce and industry to compete with the rest of the other communities, culminating to the incorporation of the city of Lawndale on December 28, 1959.